Thanks for staying tuned to your station, the Africa Independent Television, AIT. Now, welcome to your program, Security Watch Africa. Only on this program, we'll bring you that information you need to keep your life safe and secured. Welcome to the program today. Last week, we started up a discussion on the post-election security threats with our guest in studio, Chimeziem Anyadike, who is a public affairs analyst. Today, we'll be continuing with that discussion because issues from last week are still lingering, and a lot of people believe we should go further and discuss it more. You know, you are the reason why we are here, to provide you that information. Since you asked for it, we'll bring that information across to you. But first, before we go to today's discussion, we have some reports from Nigeria Army and from Nigeria Police. But let's inform you that come May 4th and 5th, 2023, in Stellenbosch, at the Stellenbosch University, South Africa, Security Watch Africa will be co-hosting an international symposium with the Center for Military Studies, Siemens, of the Stellenbosch University. It promises to be a very important symposium. The theme is Blue Ocean Economy in Nigeria, Maritime and Security in Africa. We're looking at Africa generally. If you're interested, you can click on the screen, and you can see it on your screens. Click there, and you fill the form, and you get all the necessary information you need to be part of this important. You put your name, you put your country of origin, you select let us know why you are applying for it. And if you require a visa to go to South Africa, let us know your email and confirm your email and which of the days you want to attend, the 2 days or Sunday, then submit. A team is compiling those who have shown interest, and they will notify you immediately with all the invitation package. You will get it. It promises to be a very important symposium, and I tell you, Nigeria is actively participating. In fact, the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Zuberu Gambo, is the lead speaker. He will be speaking with the Southern Africa Naval Chief also. They will be speaking. And from Nigeria also, we are having the DG Nimasa coming also to tell us the experiences in the maritime security sector and to tell the world. Nigeria has a lot to tell the world, especially when it comes to the waters and the maritime. In the last 1 year, 2 years, our waters have become an example for how it should be internationally. So plan to join us 4th to 5th May 2023 in Stellenbosch University, South Africa. I'm telling you, it was going to be a wonderful time out there in South Africa. But let's go, like I said, we're discussing during the week, Security Watch Africa, Shuli Daniels was at the Army headquarters where the Chief of Army Staff hosted the first quarter Chief of Army Staff conference, and she was there. Here, she brings you the report.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, has commended officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army for doggedness, diligence, and professionalism in the fight against terrorism, which has made Nigeria to be rated highest in the fight against terrorism globally and placed the country in the positive map in 2022. General Yahya made this commendation in his opening remark at the first quarter Chief of Army Staff Conference held in Abuja. He noted that effort from troops of Operation Hardin Kai in synergy with sister services and the incessant injection of trained troops and equipment through Operation Lake Sanity and Desert Sanity made it possible.
Our efforts in Operation Hardin Kai in synergy with sister services and other security agencies no doubt have significantly curtailed terrorism and insurgency that hitherto bedeviled the northeast part of the country. Our continuous injection of specially trained troops and special equipment through Operation Lake Sanity and Desert Sanity to complement efforts of Operation Hardin Kai has been rewarding. The insurgents and terrorists no longer have freedom of action, and that has almost, among other benefits, resulted in massive surrender by the adversaries. This effort expectedly have enhanced troops' poise and greatly improved the security situation and public confidence in the Northeast. It's on record that last year, that's 2022, Nigeria attained its best record against terrorism since 2011. Put differently, in the past 11 years, from 2011 to date, Nigeria recorded its highest rating against terrorism last year. This is indeed a commendable effort and achievement by you all, the other sister services, stakeholders, and indeed our predecessors.
The Army chief stated clearly that the Nigerian Army is making more effort to neutralize unrepentant insurgents.
Though impressive are these efforts, but we are not relenting. Rather, we are even channeling more effort toward consolidating on those successes in order to completely neutralize insurgents that fail to surrender.
He further noted that the outcome of the 2022 Chief of Army Staff Conference in the northwest region of Nigeria had a devastating effect on bandits and other criminal elements in that region.
The successful hosting of last year's annual conference in the northwest region of the country had been gratifying. The conference, in addition to eliciting far-reaching decisions, created the necessary impact that has continued to improve the success of our operations in the region. The intensified offensive operations to eliminate armed bandits and other criminal elements in northwest and north central regions have equally yielded positive results. Nigerian Army troops deployed for Operation Hadar and Daji and Forest Sanity have projected forces and intensified offensives to clear bandits' enclaves. These operations have destroyed criminal hideouts, neutralized several bandits, and subjected the remaining elements to situations where they are mostly either targeting civilians or they are on their own.
He reiterated Nigerian Army's pledge to continue to perform its constitutional role in protecting the territorial integrity of the country.
Our deliberation should be focused on achieving the overall objective of better repositioning the Nigerian Army to deliver on her constitutional rules. I am quite optimistic that the briefs and presentations during the conference will elicit robust discussions as well as strategies that will sustain the upward trend of Nigerian Army operational success.
Shirley Daniels, reporting for Security Watch Africa. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, has urged commanders to sensitize troops on all the decisions taken during the just concluded fourth-quarter Chief of Army Staff Conference and continue to improve on recorded achievements. General Yahya stated this while delivering his closing remark on the conference in Abuja, Nigeria.
I applaud all participants for insightful contributions which have led to incisive decisions during the conference. Your inputs and contributions are products of critical thinking that give hope of bequeathing a better Nigerian Army to the next generation. I urge all commanders to sensitize on all the decisions taken during this conference.
He also charged commanders to always view seriously the issue of conduct of personnel, especially during operations, as a command responsibility.
I wish to once again emphasize that commanders at all levels must strive to improve on our recorded achievements. As a command responsibility, all commanders should think down and ensure close supervision and guidance. In this manner, even soldiers in the sections will receive due attention from the appropriate and respected commanders. On this note, I charge all commanders to always deal seriously the issue of conduct of personnel, especially during operations.
While noting the strategy deployed by troops which encouraged the terrorists and their families to surrender, he also charged them to make deliberate efforts to awaken their consciousness to adhere to basic principles of the rules of engagement during operations.
I also acknowledge our collective effort that led to the operation of successes during being recorded across the various theaters of our operation. This is evident in the increased number of neutralized insurgents and those that voluntarily surrendered. The current strategy that has encouraged the terrorists and their families to surrender for the radicalization and rehabilitation is quite commendable.
The army hemsman reaffirmed the loyalty of the Nigerian army and urged the general public to support the Nigerian army in making sure the country remains safe.
I would once again affirm the loyalty of the Nigerian army to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria. The Nigerian army will continue to provide the enabling environment for peace and stability in the country.
Shirley Daniels, reporting for Security Watch Africa, Abuja.
Welcome back. That was the opening and the closing ceremony of the first quarter Chief of Army Staff Conference 2023 held here in Abuja, and Shirley Daniels brought the report to us. Yes, my guest still in the studio is Chimeziem Anyadike. He was our guest last week when we discussed the post-election security threats, and he's here again. It's a pleasure to have you back in the studio.
Same here,
yeah, I think maybe before we go to the next report, which is from the Nigerian Police Headquarters, tell me, the Chief of Army Staff did say at the opening that Nigeria in the last 11 years have done so well in the fight against terrorism, and indeed, it ranked highest in the fight against terrorism. Do you agree with that assertion?
Definitely, I do. I do, because it's very obvious to the blind and very loud to the deaf that the security situation in Nigeria has massively improved. And what used to be obtainable in the past is no longer what the experience is currently. So I can say that, yes, I agree with his assertion. I agree with his statement that indeed Nigeria's ranking in Global Security Index has improved massively. I agree totally.
Okay.
Yes.
Though some part of the things he talked there, which we'll be discussing later, but let's go back and bring you the report by Ernest Enuneku from the Nigeria Police Force Headquarters. Sit back as we bring you this report.
To reward hard work and diligence, 58 senior police officers were promoted to the next rank, ranging from Assistant Inspector General of Police to Deputy Inspector General of Police, from Commissioner of Police to Assistant Inspector General of Police, and from Deputy Commissioner of Police to Commissioner of Police. Among those promoted were decorated this Thursday at the Goodluck Jonathan Peacekeeping Hall, Force Headquarters, Abuja. At the decoration ceremony, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Alkali Baba, congratulated and admonished them to ensure that they redouble their efforts in making sure that the police reform agenda is interpreted to the latter for the benefit of Nigeria and Nigerians.
To the newly promoted officers, I call on you to deploy your wealth of experience towards supporting the force leadership in addressing current and evolving internal security challenges. I further charge you to advance the manifestation of those exceptional skills, sets and professional qualities which has earned you this latest elevation and brought you thus to a policing career. It is expedient for you to advance your powers in the fight against crime and criminality, as you will be deployed to strategic positions within the force for this purpose.
To felicitate with the promotees were some senior government officials, relatives and friends, among whom are Secretary to the Federal Government of Nigeria, Boss Mustafa, Chairman, Senate Committee on Police Affairs, Senator Hali Rujika, Chairman, House Committee on Police Affairs, Honorable Bello Kumo, former Governor of Zamfara State, Ahmed Sani Yerima, the President of POA, Hajia Hajara, Usman Al-Kali Baba, among other dignitaries. At the end of the decoration ceremony, Security Watch Africa spoke with some of the newly decorated officers.
I can only but say to my IGP, Usman Al-Kali Baba, well done for the job well done by him and of course his management team. And to the generality of Nigerians, I want to thank them very much for giving us the level playing ground to serve them and to also assure them that we will continue to do the best that they expect from us.
I want to thank the IGP for this opportunity, for finding me worthy to be among those that are newly promoted, and to reassure him that I will keep on doing the best I can do to put my wealth of experience and provide some strategic solutions to return security challenges. And I will not fail him. I'll keep on doing my job the best I can do.
All I need to say to Nigerian police is thank you. Thank you and thank you again for giving me the opportunity to serve and for giving me the opportunity to go through the struggle and get to this enviable position as the Commissioner of Police.
To whom much is given, much is expected. With this new promotion and decoration galore at the various commands, including the force headquarters of the Nigerian Police Force, Nigerians expect nothing less than diligent policing and policing with human face from these officers of the law. Ernest Enuneku, Security Watch Africa, Abuja.
Welcome back. We must say kudos to all those who were promoted and decorated there. We could see some of our award-winning officers there, AIG Abiodun Alabi, Sylvester Alabi, AIG Ali Mohammed Ari. We can see there now CP Olatunji Disu there. We have so many, AIG Sadiq, so many of them. These are friends of Security Watch Africa. I would say kudos to you and well done, Inspector General of Police Usman Al-Kali Baba, for recommending them for this well-deserved promotion. I say kudos to you too. Thank you, sir. Yes, let's come to our discussion today. Yes, maybe briefly, I don't know if you have anything to say for this promotion of these police officers.
Yeah, I think it's very important because the reward for hard work is actually more work. So yes. I think they've done excellently well. I was particularly excited seeing that Officer Tunji Disu was part of those that were promoted. He's somebody I've had great admiration for, as well as AIG Frank Mba. These are men of pristine professionalism in the Nigerian police force. So I was particularly excited when I saw that they were, beneficiaries of the promotion exercise. And I say kudos. It's more work for them right now. It's going to get tougher. It's going to get harder. It's going to require a lot of much more commitment from them. So it's something worthwhile. It's something worth celebrating. And I say congratulations to them once again.
Okay. Yes. Let's go to where we stopped last week. At the last comment we were looking at, the last issue we looked at last week was this issue of people who were calling for interim national government, and he said that first it's unconstitutional, it's not welcome. Then some people went to the extent of going to even the Ministry of Defense to call for the military to intervene. And now during this week, some people are writing letters to the United States President and to the ICC over the election. Is this not heating up the situation we already have in this country? Because we want to have experience Ukraine is having now currently. Please, I will hear from you.
Well, I think the biggest problem with the Nigerian citizenry, with a lot of Nigerians, is the stubbornness to learn, to know things, to understand, something that everybody calls ignorance. And we know if we know some things, I believe that we will do better. We will not do some of the things we have done. And I also believe that this stubbornness leads us on a path that most times when we embark on it, we don't realize that there are consequences. And by the time we start experiencing the consequences, we will still refuse to accept responsibility that it was as a result of our actions, as a result of our foolishness that led us to those consequences. Case in point, the situation in Ukraine. I don't know if, because of Hollywood movies and the rest of it, there is this romantic feeling of what warfare could be like. And I tell some of, the people that I sometimes debate with that you are clamoring for war. You don't need to go to Ukraine. Just take a visit to the Northeast and see the devastation that has taken place there. And by the time you go there and you return, if you still want to clamor for war, then I definitely understand and I know that indeed something is wrong with the person. I've always told people that, see, it is good to know things. And when some people ask me, how do you know a lot of things? I think it's as simple as reading. The information is out there. It's just for you to read and understand. People going to the Ministry of Defense to call for the army to take over, I can tell you, sir, that left to me, that is me. If that is what I should do, I would have gotten all of them locked up. Because you are openly calling for treason. You are openly calling for the violation of the Constitution. You are openly, it's not as though you did it in secret. You went out there, there is evidence against you that you are calling for treason. And if the laws of our land should be taken, cognizance of, I think all those protesters should have been rounded up. Their organizers should be identified, and then they should all be made to face the full wrath of the law, because there are things you should protest for and not something as serious and as significant as that. For those writing letters to other sovereign nations, I think it's more like the slavish mentality of colonialism. We still believe somehow that we don't understand that we are an independent sovereign entity. There is nothing another nation would come to Nigeria to do. Nothing would empower them in any way to come to Nigeria to demonstrate any kind of flexing of muscle or force. They cannot do that. So the writing of letter, to me, it's a demonstration of outright ignorance.
But some of these people seems to be well learned or well exposed. So
well, one of my friends said something very, very striking, and I agree with him. He said something that a lot of people could be well learned in mathematics, English. It doesn't mean that they understand or know politics. You could sink them into a situation of English literature, and they would demonstrate the genius in them. But bring them into mathematics, and you look at the person and say, your IQ is very low. You understand? So some of these people demonstrate great intellectual dexterity in their areas of genius, in their areas of specialization. And when it comes to other areas, instead of them letting the world know that, oh, sorry, I don't have any contribution here, I don't have any say here, I have nothing to say here, they will still want to come out and show that, okay, since I'm a genius already, let me still flex muscles. And then at the end of the day, they end up exposing themselves as thoroughly ignorant of what is obtainable within the political space. It does not make any sense. It does not demonstrate wisdom. It does not demonstrate any intellectual acuity for you to request something from another sovereign nation to come into your own sovereign nation and intervene. It sounds like children's war play games. It doesn't make any sense, and we expect so much more better from these intellectuals. And for the fact that they are not demonstrating it, it goes to call a lot of questioning for their presumed intellectual dexterity.
Because some of them have led protests even to the White House, to Capitol Hill, so lots of all these places.
Yes, well, like I always say, you have the right to assemble, you have the right to protest, whatever it is. Just know that you should do it within the ambits of the law. Whatever it is you are doing, you should be able to understand that the law gives you certain limits to express whatever it is you want to express. So if you protest, no problem. But like I have told people severally, it is not going to alter May 29th in any way. Okay. It's not going to affect it.
You're talking about May 29th. Some people have threatened a lot of things, but let's leave that again. We believe that those politics will be looking at what's going to happen. But one vista have just come out again. Looking in the last 3 weeks, there seems to be increase in kidnapping and violent crime, armed robbery again. What is happening?
Well, I would think that maybe the elections made a lot of criminals just pipe low, just reduce their activities. And then I would also want to say that the Naira redesign policy, and as one of our governors called it, cash confiscation policy, went a long way in reducing these activities, because whatever you do, one, the only way you'll be able to obtain, let's say, ransom money from the victims, from the kidnapped victims, would be through bank transfer. And then bank transfers kept on having issues then. So it was going to look like it would be, you know, efforts in futility. But it now appears that as the
system is being reversed again. Cash is not flowing.
Yes, cash is flowing. It's like the criminals have realized that, okay, we can continue business because to them it's business.
Because in Lagos, somebody with kidnappers were arrested asking for 20 million. Now a traditional ruler in Plateau, 18 million. So many. It seems that the cash presence is increased.
It has reignited the violent crimes.
I think in line with what the Mr. President did say, that it will help to reduce all this ransom demand. We hope that we will implement that. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much.
We hope to continue to look at May 29, what security arrangement should be in place.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes, let's remind you again of the coming symposium, the international symposium organized jointly by Security Watch Africa and the Center for Military Studies of Stellenbosch University, South Africa. That symposium promises to look at the issues of blue ocean economy, maritime and security in Africa. The imperatives, what should be done, the prospects to advance it. And if you're interested, you can click there, and fill the form and submit. Then you'll be shortlisted to attend May 4th and 5th, 2023 in South Africa. On that note, we must leave for other programs to continue. I say thanks for staying tuned until you come again next week. I say bye for now.